Well, they definitely did it. They flooded the zone. As one man signs executive orders literally every day to harm people of marginalized communities. The supporters of that man clamor for empathy for someone who was a racist and a bigot. But there's so much more happening. There's an actual genocide happening. In more than one country, might I add. And it's happening with our money. There's boats being bombed in Venezuela. There's people being human trafficked by the frozen water people. Nepal's government was overthrown by its people. And then they elected their new temporary leader in a Discord server. France's prime minister, fourth prime minister, just resigned. The people of the UK are rising up in protest. And now we've even got aliens on their way. Do you feel like you're in the Twilight Zone? It's because that's the whole point. They want you so overwhelmed with information that you stop paying attention to what's important. They want to use this recent tragedy to divide us even more. Do you notice how many videos are out there about the left celebrating? The rhetoric seems to be shame on the left for celebrating. I consider myself left, and I talk to a lot of left people. I also follow a lot of left creators. And funny enough, not one of them celebrated this event. Not a single one. Most people I knew were just like, oh well. Some people felt a bit stronger because they were affected directly by the type of comments that he made. But even those people in their hurt never celebrated. You do realize that there's other countries that are trying to stoke division. We talk about the Chinese bots and the Russian bots in social media. What do you think their purpose is? Nobody is interested in the center right or center left because those people have common sense. Most people that I know discuss politics as policy and investment and budgeting, not racism and bigotry and transphobia and homophobia. But social media is not interested in common sense. Social media is interested in the far right and the far left. And people choose to be part of that far right or far left spectrum because it makes money. Rage makes money. Normal conversations, discussions, political commentary, common sense, those things don't sell. It only sells if you're super angry about it. But the point is, there are powerful people assisting these people on both the far left and the far right, because it is in their best interest that we are divided. Don't lose focus. The man with the island did not have a few cases against him. There is a giant network still existing across the globe in 2025 doing the same thing. This list isn't a 40-year-old list. This isn't a list of a bunch of old guys who are going to go to jail for 10 years and then pass away. This list will expose some of the richest and most powerful people in the world. And they know their facade is crumbling. Now that countries talk to each other and we see how people are living, and we see all of the corruption in all of the different governments across the world, people are starting to figure it out. I know there's a lot of high-ranking CEOs who are suddenly not with us anymore. Most of these million-dollar companies or billion-dollar companies could pay salaries 3 times the amount that they pay and still come home with enough profit for the shareholders. Unions are starting to stand up and demand better wages. And these people know if this information gets out there, their world will crumble. Why do you think they've spent the last 40 years trying to keep it quiet? And if you think Fat Nixon's the person in control of that powerful information, you're sorely mistaken. 250 U.S. lawmakers were in Israel for a giant meeting where they planted flags for their states at the site of October 7th. There are rich and powerful people on both sides of the political spectrum. So they spend millions and millions of dollars to convince you that your neighbor is the enemy. Because if your neighbor is your enemy, you're not going to talk to them and find out that you have some of the same things in common, like struggling to pay for groceries, Or having to decide between gas money or paying the heat bill this month? Or can you get mental health services? Or struggling because your kids are having a hard time at school? When you see something on political content that enrages you, just take a step back for a moment. Ask yourself where it's coming from. Is this a source that I trust? Is this a piece of information that I can verify somewhere else? And then if you find something to be true, then ask yourself, what can I do to help this situation? Do I call my member of government? Do I join a protest? Do I donate somewhere in my community that needs help? If you hate your neighbor, you won't find out that you're the same. Now, I'm not saying don't get mad. And I'm not saying don't build the rage. Because we're going to need that. But use it selectively. If it's not worth fighting about, don't bother. If it's a bot account, don't give it the attention. If it's someone in your comment section, delete them or block them. Because bigger things are coming. As people start to wake up and push back against capitalism, it's going to push back to us too. Stay focused. Release the files.